Upon landing at Sacramento International Airport on his Southwest flight, Wes Hardaway, an accountant, phoned his wife Marlene. "Hello, love," he said. "I've arrived from San Diego. The plane has just touched down. I should be home in around an hour." He expressed his affection, hoping she had recently prepared for a family startup as her freelance art business thrived. He felt working outside the home would ease motherhood. With a familiar tune echoing in his mind, he pulled into their driveway, but found the garage door opener faulty. Frustrated, he parked and approached the front door, only to discover that his key wouldn't fit the lock. Following multiple attempts, he pressed the doorbell but only heard silence. He knocked and shouted, "Hello, dear, it's me. There seems to be a problem with the lock. Can you let me in?" No response. He knocked more forcefully and detected movement within. Marlene's voice echoed from behind the door. "I've replaced all the locks and the garage code." Baffled, Wes responded, "I don't get it. Let me in. But you no longer live here." "What are you talking about? This is my house." After a brief moment, Marlene stated, "Speak to the person behind you." Wes turned to find a man in a baseball cap approaching him. Before he could utter a word, the man handed him an envelope. "Wesley Hardaway, this is a petition for divorce and a temporary restraining order, requiring you to maintain a distance of 200 yards from me." Taken aback, Wes pounded on the door again. "Marlene, we need to discuss this." A police officer appeared, hand on his holster. The man in the cap briefed the officer about the restraining order, who then addressed Wes. "Sir, you must depart instantly, or I will detain you." Perplexed, Wes nodded and strolled to his vehicle under the vigilant gaze of nearby residents. He departed gradually, scarcely noticing his surroundings. Inside the dwelling, Marlene exhaled a victorious sigh. "I accomplished it," she mused. He had been taken by surprise. The following morning, Wes stirred in a motel, bewildered and drained. He spent the day pondering over what transpired and why. Unable to recollect any triggers for Marlene's actions, he remained mystified. The positive aspect was that Wes had his shaving equipment with him. The negative aspect was that all his garments were either soiled or creased, and he couldn't return home for fresh ones because he was barred from entry. Additionally troubling, the restraining order meant he might require a lawyer merely to procure clean attire. He glanced at the clock and noticed it was too soon to contact a legal firm. Skipping dinner, he concluded that food was his immediate need. Encountering a fast food establishment open at an early hour, Wes took breakfast and jotted down tasks. The primary objective was to contact his boss about his unexplained absence, as Edith Norton, a strict supervisor, wouldn't be pleased. He attempted leaving a voicemail, but she answered promptly. Edith, unwilling to accept the cold excuse, pressed him to reveal the truth. Forced into confession, Wes admitted his predicament. Unsympathetic, Edith speculated he had caused this situation with his wife. Reluctantly, she granted permission for his absence under the condition that he return the following day to wash clothes. After an unpleasant conversation, Wes sought a lawyer. Major law firms neglected family law matters, and those that handled them were fully booked for weeks. Desperate, he dialed Winston Samuels and Associates and secured an afternoon appointment. Although puzzled as to why Samuels wasn't busy, he needed swift assistance. Wes then scrutinized his bank balance before deciding to purchase new attire. Relieved to find his paycheck deposited, he was shocked to discover only $1 remained in their shared account with Marlene. Enraged by her apparent theft, he included it in the grievances for his attorney. He then shopped at Target for work-appropriate attire and impulsively drove past his home, but found no signs of activity. Returning to the motel, he ate a solitary lunch. Later, he navigated downtown to the law firm. The office, located in an old building near Capitol Mall, bore a traditional sign. Upon introduction, he was escorted to Winston Samuels' office. A seasoned-looking man in his 60s, Samuels listened as Wes outlined his predicament and handed over the documents. Samuels scrutinized them before asking Wes what he desired. "Can you remove the restraining order? If I could converse with Marlene, perhaps I could resolve this." Samuels pondered for a moment before leaning forward. I have some ideas on that matter, Wes acknowledged as the lawyer presented his proposals. In California, you can't prevent a divorce if your partner seeks it. Her locking you out signifies she has no intention of discussing her decision. The restraining order indicates she doesn't wish to interact with you without legal representation. Taking funds from the joint bank account is a tactic to apply pressure. She intends for the financial stress to hasten your agreement to the divorce. It seems she has been planning this for some time, given the steps she has taken, such as getting a restraining order and changing the locks. Wes queried, "How do you know that?" Samuels responded, "The process of obtaining a restraining order is not instant. She secured a lawyer, prepared the necessary paperwork, obtained court approval, and changed the locks, none of which happened swiftly." Wes slumped into a chair. She had given no signs of trouble. In fact, she had expressed love when he called from the airport. Samuels remained quiet. Wes sighed, "I suppose I'll file for divorce then." "Why hadn't she consulted you before doing that?" Samuels responded, "I can't provide an answer, but I suggest you reach out to a detective agency. They're effective and affordably priced, situated in the same building. Should I arrange an appointment for you?" "Yes, I need to uncover the truth." Samuels proceeded to make the call, and shortly afterwards, the receptionist advised Wes that the detective, Trevor Samuels, was available. 30 minutes later, Wes found himself outside Sacramento Confidential Investigations. Trevor, a middle-aged man in tracksuit attire, greeted him. "I'm Trevor Samuels, chief of the Psi Department." "Nice to meet you," Wes replied. "Are you related to Winston Samuels?" "Yes, I'm his brother. I was a detective in San Francisco prior to going solo. Let's discuss your situation now." Wes explained his predicament. "Your brother claims he can't prevent the divorce, but I want to know why she acted this way. It's embarrassing." The detective listened intently. "I get it. I'll help you find answers. The protective order may serve as her plot device for her story. She's implicating you despite your denial of any violence towards her. When people inquire about the divorce, she plans to bring up the protective order, damaging your reputation while remaining silent." Wes was taken aback. He couldn't fathom her malice. "She's orchestrated this cunningly," Trevor agreed. "I aim to discover why in a week." "That would be excellent news," Wes replied, shaking his hand. For the remainder of the day, he adhered to the lawyer's advice to secure his finances. The following morning, he reported for work only to encounter Edith Norton. "Glad you've made it, Mr. Hardaway. You have a mountain of tasks awaiting your attention. I trust you'll be diligent in clearing it." Wes detested her, but he nodded and hastened to his workspace. Skipping lunch and working tirelessly, he managed to lessen his workload. However, his concentration waned when Trevor Samuels called late that night. "A fortunate occurrence, Wes. Our researcher unearthed intriguing data. Can you swing by tomorrow to see it? Could I have your response now? We follow the policy of disclosing findings in person." "Affirmative," Wes consented hesitantly. "I'll make an effort to fit it in. If I don't reach out, I'll drop by early." Miss Norton proved as unyielding as anticipated. "Mr. Hardaway, you can't simply leave work at will. If you persistently demand tomorrow off, it shall be deducted from your vacation." "Yes, ma'am," he responded gloomily, indifferent about losing a vacation day. The following morning, Wes entered the office and Trevor was in good spirits. "We've hit the jackpot. Come in and I'll demonstrate." Trevor displayed a fisheye image of Wes's house. At exactly 8:51 p.m., a silver BMW i8 was visible, entering the garage, followed by the door closing. "That was yesterday," Trevor noted. "Isn't that your wife's car?" "No, she drives a Honda," Wes understood. "She had a visitor." "Precisely," affirmed Trevor. A fresh garage code was shown in one video, and later, a video displayed the same car leaving the garage at 1:32 p.m. the following day. A sense of unease settled in Wes as she quickly found a new acquaintance. Trevor presented another video from 3 weeks past, showing the same vehicle again. "Frequency?" Wes asked nervously. "We have records for the last 6 months. This visitor met her twice or thrice a week." Wes felt nauseous. Where did you get these? Neighbors with motion-activated cameras store everything in a cloud database, often catching porch thieves or unfaithful spouses. Wes clenched his teeth. Too bad we never spotted the man. Trevor then showed another video where the car's license plate was visible. I know someone at the DMV, Trevor said, pressing a button. A handsome man's driver's license photo appeared on the screen. Does the name John Mackenzie sound familiar? Damn it, Wes replied. Marlene works for his advertising agency. He seemed certain that was how they had crossed paths. Standing suddenly, he declared, I'm heading to confront him immediately. Hold on, Trevor intervened, gripping Wes's arm. It's the reason I personally deliver information. Sit down and let's discuss first before you act recklessly. Wes scowled but resumed his seat. Pay heed, Wes, Trevor persisted. Confronting him could bolster your wife's claim for a restraining order. Your standing is already precarious. Don't make it worse permanently. Wes lowered his gaze. I'm no warrior. In Mackenzie's office, I'd likely lose. Moreover, Marlene would enjoy two men vying for her affections. But I must do something. I can't let them go unpunished. I understand your anger, Trevor sympathized. However, there are alternative paths to reach your objectives without facing the possibility of incarceration. Wes questioned, what alternatives? Trevor proposed. I spoke about your situation with Dash Daniels, our specialist. She's well-versed in social media and has some ideas. You should listen to her suggestions, Trevor advised. Wes appeared doubtful. Trevor persuaded Wes to visit a room labeled Antisocial Network. Disregarding the label, he explained it was due to the person's unique sense of humor inside. The room resembled a college dorm with a worn desk, multiple screens, and posters adorning dark gray walls. A tall, slim girl with white hair and gothic makeup greeted them. I'm Dash Daniels, she said. It seems you are the one being cheated on. Wes shook her hand in confusion. What? Dash clarified. Your wife is cheating. You're the cheatie. Trevor cautioned Dash and urged Wes to listen to her. Once alone, Dash invited Wes to sit on a futon and requested he share his predicament. Dash admitted she rarely intervenes but loathes dishonesty before revealing that her father and uncle are Trevor. It's a family enterprise. I understand your former partner is causing trouble for you. To change this situation, I require all the facts. What transpired between you two, your actions, and your emotions about it, Dash clarified. I'm unsure how a computer specialist can be of assistance, Wes replied. No disrespect, Wes said. None taken. I handle online reputation management. That's what you require to deal with your ex, Dash explained. However, Wes hesitated. Do you navigate the internet? Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, eBay, Instagram? Dash inquired. Not extensively, Wes conceded. In that case, let's cover the fundamentals of social media. A vast portion of the populace is always online. That's where they get information, make connections, find amusement. It's influential, Dash stated, noticing his skepticism. She continued, there are individuals earning thousands by playing games on YouTube, companies prospering on Amazon, and figures shaping public opinion on Instagram. If we can garner the support of this online audience, your ex will be helpless. Is it truly possible? Wes questioned, intrigued. We'll see, Dash responded. Once more, relate your account with a focus on feelings and responses, for emotions hold greater power than facts, Dash suggested. Initially hesitant, Wes eventually consented. For the subsequent hour, he narrated his tale from an emotional standpoint. Dash listened attentively, jotting down points and posing clarifying queries. Upon completion, she examined her notes and fixed her gaze on him intently. It's time to get down to business, Dash stated. I believe I have a strategy, but first, Wes, how resilient are you? Dash inquired. Are you asking about my physical strength? Wes queried. No, I'm referring to your self-worth. How do you respond to criticism and other people's opinions? Dash clarified. I suppose I'm as strong as anyone else, Wes responded. We'll soon find out, Dash replied. I fail to comprehend, Wes admitted. Every compelling narrative follows a pattern, she elucidated, sketching a half circle in the air. The protagonist commences here, encounters adversity, reaches a nadir, then recovers. We need to illustrate your struggles to garner sympathy. I still don't see it, but I am already struggling, Wes said. She offered a sorrowful grin. We'll find out. You should be prepared to leave immediately. I'll contact you. Is that possible? If it's during work hours, my boss will be furious, as I'm already on her bad side, Wes replied. Excellent, she said, shaking his hand. I despise deceit. Wes departed, pondering everything. What have I done to warrant this? He sighed. And what have I blundered into now? The subsequent day, Dash phoned him during lunchtime. Can you collect me? We have an opportunity now. My boss will dislike me, Wes responded, but I'll be there in 20 minutes. Francis Norton reluctantly consented, he was informed. But remember, this will be deducted from your vacation time, she warned as he left. Upon arriving at the Samuels building, Dash was waiting outside. You've got a new wardrobe, he quipped, but she paid him no mind. We're going to your house, she instructed. I can't be there with Marlene present, Wes objected. Don't fret. My father has seen her depart. He will keep watch over us, Dash comforted him. Are we burglarizing? Wes inquired, anxious. She clarified that she wanted Wes to recount what transpired upon his arrival home. And you? She asked. I'll record everything, Dash responded. What's the purpose? Wes inquired. To provide your followers with a background story, she explained. Followers? I don't have any, Wes stated, perplexed. Not at present. Now, recount how you felt during the entire episode, Dash instructed. Wes detailed his emotions, which included excitement, anger, confusion, depression, and shock. Excellent, she said. In your house, take us through each step and demonstrate those feelings. Can you manage that? I'm not a great actor, Wes conceded. Don't pretend. Just recall and reiterate what you did. Here, give me your phone. She manipulated his phone, handed him a Bluetooth earpiece, and guided him to his neighborhood. Upon arrival, she called him, signaling for him to step out and approach the door. She filmed as he attempted to unlock the house. Avert your gaze from me, she said. Simply repeat your previous actions. As Wes attempted to unlock the door, vivid recollections and feelings from that day resurfaced, darkening his spirits. Press the doorbell, Wes, Dash suggested via earpiece. He did so, recalling his anger. Knock on the door, she ordered next, and he struck it forcefully, feeling his irritation swell. Marlene shouts that she's changed the locks and wants a divorce, Dash relayed. Wes took a step back, remembering the shock and venom in her tone. He attempted to reason with her, but she remained unyielding. A bailiff stands behind you, Dash warned, and Wes spotted Trevor Samuels advancing with papers. Trevor handed him one and read from another. The text made little sense to Wes, but he stared at it as if it were a verdict of death. He turned back to the door and began to pound on it with his fist. The officer is instructing you to depart, Wes, Dash informed. He faced around, visualizing the officer's instructions as a judge's ruling. Without more words, he lowered his arms, breathed deeply, and departed. His limbs felt weighty, and his universe appeared fragmented. Go to the car, Dash directed him, and he moved slowly towards the vehicle, climbed inside, and sat down. You were excellent, Wes. I obtained some fantastic footage, Dash praised, settling into the passenger seat. He ignited the engine and navigated back downtown. There was no police officer present, he started. We don't require him. Only you and Marlene are aware of that fact, Dash clarified, giving his shoulder a comforting squeeze. Your performance was impressive, Wes. You truly immersed yourself. Let's not discuss things at the moment, Wes inquired, his discomfort audible. She withdrew her hand and gazed out the window. By the time they reached the Samuels building, she had made up her mind. Park in the lot, she ordered. You're accompanying me. She guided him to her office, motioned for him to sit on the futon, and returned with 2 bottles of beer. They drank without speaking. Following the second bottle, she spoke up. Are you deeply invested in this project? Dash questioned. He let out a sigh. Indeed, it stirred up all those emotions again, the surprise, the perplexity, the desolation. I hadn't realized I hadn't fully processed them. She gave a nod. I apologize for bringing up such painful memories, but your emotional response will resonate with the audience. He took another swig. I still don't understand how this will be beneficial. I'll utilize this video to establish a downward spiral in your character arc. Then we'll work towards a happy resolution, she clarified. So you're promising me turmoil, struggle, and heartache? Wes inquired. Precisely. But recall, the British eventually lost because America intervened, Dash retorted. Yes, and I'm on your side. It won't be a fair contest, Wes countered. She got up to leave. Now, let me work. Dash, for some reason, I find myself placing trust in you, he stated. He stood up. Thanks for the beer. She returned the favor with a quick hug. Stay strong, Wes. Things will get better, I assure you, she promised. As he drove back to the motel, Wes felt a glimmer of optimism. However, his spirits plummeted the following morning. Wes found himself weary at work due to Edith Norton's absence. The only ray of hope was a call from Dash, inviting him over post-work. Can you drop by after hours? I've got something interesting for you, she said. The final 2 hours at work slipped away effortlessly. Upon reaching Dash's office, he was seated and shown a large monitor. To grasp this, you need to watch some YouTube first, Dash explained. Have you heard of Gossip Girl Gertie's Back Fence? Wes inquired. You really ought to be familiar with it. Gertie runs one of the most popular YouTube channels. Let me demonstrate, Dash replied. An advertisement for beauty products appeared briefly, and Dash hurriedly skipped past it. The screen displayed a typical middle-class backyard with a white picket fence. A sign read, Gossip Girl Gertie's Back Fence, transitioning to a set with a desk and the same fence. Behind it sat a hostess adorned in a 1950s style blonde wig and attire. How delightful to see you, the woman exclaimed. I am Gertie, the Gossip Girl. She unveiled the juiciest gossip ever, covering topics such as gossip, life stories, fashion tips, product recommendations, among others. Graphics and videos were used to enhance each segment. After a while, she paused the broadcast, inquiring, Got the idea? What are your thoughts? Wes wondered aloud. This is a hobby, Dash scoffed. It's her full-time occupation. Can she earn a living from this? Wes questioned, surprised. Advertisers pay generously for popular YouTube shows, Dash clarified. How much? Wes asked. A show with 1 million subscribers can make over $50,000 annually, Dash replied. $50,000? Not bad, Wes responded. Last year, Gertie's show had approximately 100 million subscribers, Dash disclosed. 100 million? That means she makes around $5 million a year? Wes was taken aback. Dash settled in another chair. For a show to succeed, it requires continuous content. Gertie obtains most from publicists and advertisers, but she needs more to retain her subscribers. In that context, I propose narratives suitable for her. I'll present your tale to attract her attention towards you. Wes questioned, Why would she care about my story? Dash clarified. I plan to portray you as the embodiment of every insensitive man who has heartlessly left behind a spouse or partner, Dash explained. But I'm not a coward, Wes objected. Not in my interpretation, Dash countered, clicking on a file depicting Wes's car approaching his residence. He proceeded to read the script. Have any of you experienced being dumped by a boyfriend or cast out by an uncaring husband? In Sacramento, a wife switched all the locks and sent him packing. The video showed Wes attempting to enter through the door. Observe his expression. He can't comprehend it, Dash added. She continued, Watch as he shrinks when the bailiff hands him the divorce papers. Wes watched in distress as the humiliating scene unfolded on the screen. That was embarrassing. Is this method necessary? He inquired. I regret, Wes, but it's the only option, Dash responded. Very well, if you insist. At least you didn't expose my identity, Wes murmured, defeated. She walked away without uttering a word. The following workday, Wes received a message from Dash. You are live on Gertie. Buckle up. For the final hour of work, Wes observed his colleagues but saw nothing amiss. Edith Norton cast him a glance as he departed at 5:30. Yet, that wasn't unusual. He chose to visit Dash's office. She enjoyed it, Dash said brightly. She used it precisely as you witnessed, but provided the voice herself. She's already receiving excellent feedback. Many women seem to appreciate watching an unsympathetic man struggle. But I'm not like that, Wes objected. They aren't aware of that. It's circulating online. A TikTok user posted your image, and it's now trending. My Facebook accounts are receiving posts about it too, Dash informed him. However, there's no need to worry. In the digital realm, you're known as the humiliated husband, she said. Quite a catchy name, he retorted sarcastically. So, what's next? Dash explained. We let this simmer for another day before progressing to Phase 2, he said. And what exactly is Phase 2? Wes inquired. We transform you into a genuine villain, Dash replied. Is that necessary? Wes asked, feeling uneasy. Indeed. You can't ascend unless you descend first, Dash insisted. I don't believe Newton said that, Wes commented. Perhaps not, but Sir Isaac wasn't familiar with the internet, Dash countered. He spent the night in a gloomy mood and had trouble falling asleep in the confined motel room. The following morning, he overslept and rushed to work. Upon entering the lobby, he noticed the receptionist giving him a long, intense stare and making a phone call as he made his way to his cubicle. What was that about? He wondered, settling at his desk. During the morning, an unusually high number of colleagues walked by his cubicle, casting sideways glances and whispering chuckles. As the clock ticked towards lunch, a supervisor suddenly entered. Wes, your internet activities are impacting your job performance. It's unprofessional to discuss personal matters, she reprimanded. Madam, I'm simply working on the Wilson case. I assure you I'll have the file prepared by 2 p.m. Wes responded, Send it to me. Given your demeanor, it seems an hour is necessary otherwise, she said, departing and leaving Wes uneasy. If even Edith noticed, this matter must be spreading like wildfire, he sighed. His attempts to remain discreet were futile. During a bathroom break, a group of colleagues congregated in the hallway, and a jittery intern approached him. Mr. Hardaway, some people want to know if your initials are HH, the intern inquired. Wes gaped in astonishment as the gathering erupted in laughter. He hastened to the restroom for sanctuary. At 5 p.m., he rushed out of the office and made his way to the Samuels building, facing Dash. What have you done to me? Everyone knows it's me, even my superior, Wes accused. I'm not surprised, she responded calmly. Wes, you've turned into an internet sensation, they told you. What do you mean? You asked, confused. You've become a meme. That clip of your humiliating walk has spread like wildfire across the internet, making you the symbol of a man embarrassed by a woman, they explained. You slumped into a chair, wrapping your arms around your head. They knelt in front of you. Wes, it's going to get tougher. Tomorrow, Gertie will unveil that a protection order was served to you. Can you be strong? They asked. I'll try. I don't have another option, you muttered. The following day, Jack Mackenzie parked his silver BMW in the Hardaway driveway. Inside, Marlene was frowning at her computer. Did you see this? She asked, pointing to Gertie's video of you. Who managed to get that footage? Likely one of your neighbors captured it. It portrays you as a fool, and you for leaving him is seen as smart, Jack replied. I suppose you're right. Yet, I can't help but feel sorry for him. Look at his expression, Marlene said, her voice becoming softer. The next day was kinder to you. People continued to gawk, but the interest seemed to be dwindling. The serenity of morning was disrupted for Wes by a text from Dash. Gertie's second part is online. Stay composed, was her message. Logging onto YouTube, he watched in dread as the new video from Gertie unfolded. She exposed the restraining order, displayed the official document, and discussed its possible repercussions. In a powerful declaration, she said, To the wife, we hope you are safe. To the disgraced husband, goodbye. May you receive what you deserve. The revelation from Gertie made Wes's world seem to collapse further as her strong words tarnished him. Oh my God, he whispered. Gertie might post a bounty on me. I have to escape. Usually, the office buzzed with background noise, but now it seemed like a low, ominous growl. Wes observed his colleagues whispering and shooting suspicious glances at him. He attempted to leave unnoticed, but the crowd only grew larger. Malicious comments and hushed laughter filled the air. Normally, the commotion would subside when Edith Norton entered his cubicle, but it didn't today. In the office, Hardaway's conduct is causing issues. Typically, personal matters are one's own affair. However, when they involve domestic abuse, it becomes a concern, she firmly stated. However, I haven't harmed Marlene, Wes protested. Then why did she resort to legal action? Why must you maintain a 200-yard distance from her? Edith inquired. I don't understand the reason, Wes responded, evidently distraught. That's enough, she exclaimed. This company has no tolerance for domestic abuse. Your employment hereby ends, effective immediately. Wes's jaw dropped, but she persisted. You will receive payment for your work and a 2-week severance package. Depart instantly. Ralph will escort you out. A burly security guard then arrived. Mr. Hardaway, we won't encounter any difficulties, will we? Ralph inquired. Wes nodded and allowed the guard to guide him away. The whispers grew louder behind him. In his car, Wes remained stunned until Ralph motioned for him to leave the parking lot. He drove aimlessly until he reached Samuel's building. Agitated, he hurried to Dash's office, questioning, What have you done to me? The entire day had been miserable. Everyone knew it was me, even my supervisor. Did they fire you? Dash inquired, looking concerned. Hatchet-faced Norton dismissed me. They're giving me severance pay, Wes explained, his voice filled with annoyance. That's wonderful, Dash expressed. Stay put, Wes. I'll be back soon. She left him perplexed. Exhausted, he collapsed on the futon. Half awake, he stirred when Dash returned and sat next to him. I apologize, Wes, Dash said, holding his hands. I knew Phase 2 would be challenging, but I didn't anticipate your company would move so swiftly. It was the toughest part for him. We'll wait till tomorrow to let things calm down, then we'll initiate Phase 3. Oh God, what next? Wes groaned, asking. Now your trajectory will rise. You've reached rock bottom. It's going up from here. Uncle Winston advised not to cash checks from your company, Dash shared. Did you discuss this with your uncle? Wes asked, taken aback. Yes, he was firm about it. Refrain from signing anything without his consent, Dash stated. However, Wes expressed concern, stating that he's running short on funds, with expenses for the motel, meals, and clothing piling up. Dash showed a hint of optimism. Perhaps you could stay here. Make your office your living space, Wes questioned, surprised. Indeed, I reside here. There's a converted bedroom and bathroom available, Dash clarified. But that's not possible. Where would I rest? Wes asked hesitantly. On the futon until we sort things out, Dash offered. Noticing his reluctance, she squeezed his hands for support. It seems wasteful to spend money on a motel with your current circumstances. Since you've been laid off, you'll likely be here most of the time. Wes suggested a dinner outing to discuss this further. Afterward, she refused to let him cover the bill. Back in the car, Dash proposed, Shall we swing by your motel, gather your belongings, and check out? I can drive you back to the office instead. Exhausted, Wes consented. Gathering his possessions, they made their way back to the city center. Dash assisted him in arranging the futon as a bed. She returned, dressed in a long tee showcasing video game figures. All set, she inquired. He confirmed with a nod. Thank you for this, Dash, he expressed gratefully. I'm grateful to be here instead of that motel. She returned his smile. I feel the same, Wes. After extinguishing the lights, Wes found himself in semi-darkness lit by computer screensavers and LED lights. A sense of despair enveloped him. What became of my life? I lost my marriage, home, job, and friends. Now I'm trying to sleep in someone else's office, on someone else's bed. What mistakes did I make? He mulled over this before drifting off to sleep. The next day, Dash delivered coffee and pastries. Although still somber, Wes was soon absorbed in scouring social media for his mentions. Typing humiliated husband into the search engine, he was taken aback by the multitude of tweets, TikToks, Instagram posts, Facebook links, and even a Wikipedia page dedicated to him. Yesterday, Dash primarily shared photos, messages, and links about your story. It gained momentum independently with comments about you from various countries and languages. Amazing, he said sarcastically, now I'm globally recognized. However, the malicious remarks advocating self-harm were disquieting. I might require protection before this blows over. He sighed heavily. The lower you fall now, the higher you'll rebound, Dash reassured him. I hope that's true because I feel like I'm plummeting, Wes replied dejectedly. Meanwhile, Marlene was perusing comments about Wes on Gertie's site. Concerned, she contacted Jack. This has spiraled out of control. I want to distance myself from him, not harm him. He's never struck me or done what they allege. Should I intervene? She asked. No, Jack replied firmly. Let it unfold. This exposure will facilitate the divorce process and likely increase your settlement. When we reveal our intentions, people will rally behind you. Jack stated confidently, couldn't have orchestrated it better. Marlene hesitated, questioning him. Possibly, Jack replied. Wes is a marked man, and people are eager to attack him. He won't recover easily, he added. Post-lunch, Dash got a call from Gertie, which she relayed over the speakerphone for Wes's benefit. Hello, Gertie. How did you find the humiliated husband story? Dash inquired, winking at Wes. It exploded. It's your best story yet, netting 50,000 new subscribers. Anything else? Gertie asked, elated. Coincidentally, I'm gathering more material, which will be finished by the end of the day, Dash replied. What's new? Gertie wondered eagerly. Suppose the humiliated husband isn't such a villain, Dash suggested. That's fantastic, Gertie exclaimed. Let's make it a two-part series. Send them both to me immediately. Following the call, Dash faced Wes. Are you feeling any better? She asked. He expressed the need to observe subscribers' responses, growing more optimistic. Afterward, Dash tirelessly worked on finalizing the content, while Wes primarily kept a distance from her on social media. Once she was content, she uploaded everything onto Gertie and unwinded upon receiving approval. How about we order a pizza? I've got beer in the fridge, let's unwind, she proposed. Sounds good, Wes consented. Later, he inquired, how did you two become so close, Dash and Gertie? We first met as freshmen at the California Institute of Technology, Dash clarified. Caltech. I would never have guessed that Gertie once aspired to be an electrical engineer, Wes remarked, surprised. And what about your nickname Dash? He asked next. Dash was my nickname during college, Dash replied, adding nothing more, sensing he didn't want to divulge further details. Are you under the impression that I used to participate in track events? Not quite. Dash is an abbreviation for Dashiell, derived from Dashiell Hammett. My father is a great admirer of detective novels, particularly The Thin Man and The Maltese Falcon. As for Daniels, that's my former husband's surname. In college, I was quite the rebellious girl from Sacramento. Joey, my ex-partner, was a troublesome individual whom I became entangled with. We fled together, and my father assisted us by securing an apartment for us in Pasadena. However, unbeknownst to me, Joey squandered our resources on drugs and another woman. The situation spiraled out of control when he abandoned me with her. Wes, you seem to have noticed the troubled expression on my face. Yes, that was a difficult period in my life. I ended up homeless until my father found me and took me back home. It took some time, but I managed to rebuild my life. That's why I still bear his last name as a constant reminder of my past struggles. If given a chance, Dash would choose Samuels over Daniels, but she's accustomed to Daniels now, she shared. Wes empathized, saying it must have been tough for her. Indeed, it was difficult, Dash acknowledged. Wes then unexpectedly embraced her, and Dash returned the hug. We make quite a duo, she joked sadly. The following day, they both sat before Dash's large screen, eagerly awaiting Gertie's latest update. Wes grew restless, but Dash calmed him down. Eventually, Gertie appeared, visibly excited. I have exciting news for you gossip enthusiasts, Gertie declared. The screen showed an image of Wes' house, a silver BMW parking in the garage. Can you guess whose car this is? Jack Mackenzie, head of the Mackenzie Agency, visiting Mrs. Hubby 3 months before she filed for divorce, Gertie revealed, as images of the sports car arriving multiple times followed. I'm not passing judgment on Mrs. Hubby, but there seems to be more to this tale, she added. Remain attentive for our next unveiling. After shutting down the program, both of them leaped up, clapping enthusiastically. Wes embraced her warmly. You're incredible, simply incredible, he praised, gazing at her. Then he leaned in to kiss her. She momentarily hesitated, but soon reciprocated passionately. Their ardor was disrupted by a knock on the door. Winston Samuel's secretary poked her head in. Pardon the interruption, Mr. Hardaway is required to see Mr. Samuels, she announced. As you wish, Wes responded, following her away, casting a final look at Dash. In his office, Winston Samuels was already waiting and guided Wes inside. Given your decision to join our firm, I was eager to learn about your termination. My niece informed me, and I suggested you refrain from endorsing checks or signing documents from your previous employer, Winston explained. Affirmative, sir. She did indeed pass it on, Wes verified. Excellent. That might imply a settlement, and you should not accept any current offers, Winston cautioned. Understood, Wes agreed hesitantly. Winston questioned, You were let go for breaching the company's spouse misconduct policy? Wes replied, Yes, sir, that was made clear by my previous supervisor. Winston then asked, Is there someone else who can verify this? Wes responded, I can provide you with a list of at least 6 individuals. Later, Winston stated, Given the circumstances, I've drafted a wrongful termination lawsuit. Wes asked, Did I misuse my spouse? Winston answered, No, that's not what happened. Winston then went on to say, It appears you have a solid case for $10 million in damages. Does that sound reasonable? Wes agreed, saying, Yes, sir. That seems fair. Caught off guard, Wes asked, Do you think we can obtain that amount? Winston cautioned, There's a good chance, but it may take 3 to 5 years in court. Wes's expression changed, then Winston added, However, they would prefer to avoid negative publicity and your reputation is improving. This could work in our favor. Wes agreed to settle out of court for an amount that covered half the cost plus legal fees. $5 million is sufficient, he stated swiftly. Winston smiled approvingly and handed him a document to sign. Once signed, Winston initiated the process. Wes inquired about the potential impact on his divorce, expressing concern that Marlene might benefit. Winston assured him that it shouldn't be an issue since the events in question occurred post-divorce petition. Marlene's actions had led to Wes's dismissal, implying she should not gain from this situation. Upon sharing this news with Dash, who was preoccupied with a deadline, he left feeling disappointed when she didn't respond. He walked to the Capitol Mall and stopped at the Tower Bridge overlooking the Sacramento River. Reflecting on his actions, he regretted kissing her and thought perhaps she felt pity towards him. Upon revisiting the Samuels structure, he discovered Dash engrossed in her tasks, keeping them at a distance. Simultaneously, Marlene was fiercely phoning Jack Mackenzie. Have you noticed that gossip program on YouTube? How did they manage to film you in my garage? I assumed you were cautious, she stated angrily. I was. One of those video doorbells must have picked me up. They retain footage for months. I'd like to know who unearthed it, Jack responded. Could Wes be the culprit? Marlene questioned. Wes, are you out of your mind? He's the embarrassed spouse. He wouldn't do that to himself. He didn't know anything, Jack retorted. I understand, but someone must be involved. Indeed, and I'd punish them if I could find them. It's hindered our schemes, Jack muttered. I loathe it. You know what would cheer me up? Visit me and spend some time together, Marlene suggested suggestively. I'm not sure that's wise. I don't wish to appear in another video. Perhaps we should delay, Jack hesitated. Arrive under cover of night. Switch off your headlights before reaching the driveway as Wes is absent now, ensuring safety. I promise you won't regret it, she tempted. At what hour? He inquired. Later, Jack entered via the garage door. Marlene stepped out from her room, attired entirely in black, holding pruning shears. Jack halted, feeling a blend of desire and apprehension. "You kept me waiting," she accused. "I'm sorry," he apologized. "It was unavoidable. You know the drill. Go to your room," she instructed. "As you wish, ma'am," he complied, hastening to comply. The following day, Dash and Wes's relationship appeared restored to its usual state. As the time for watching the latest Gertie's Gossip Girl episode drew near, Dash became more animated. She summoned Wes to the large screen monitor to watch with her. After the initial greeting, Gertie appeared, evidently excited. The tale of the mortified husband persists. Previously disclosed, Marlene, a wife found to be unfaithful, was engaged in an affair with advertising executive Jack McKenzie. It's possible this is the reason for her husband's expulsion. The distraught husband's police records showed no convictions or complaints, which is peculiar. Could Mrs. Hubby simply aim to further humiliate him? Yet, why was a restraining order issued by Judge Harold Chalmers? Perhaps it's due to his upcoming re-election campaign. An advertisement for Judge Chalmers followed shortly thereafter, and lo and behold, 3 weeks prior, the judge had received a $10,000 campaign contribution from Mackenzie Advertising Agency. The list of donors was displayed, highlighting the contributions. I'm not implying that the judge acted due to the donation. Draw your own conclusions, but I believe we owe the humiliated husband an apology. "Impressive, just impressive," Wes remarked as Dash switched off the video. Dash and Marlene now have something to ponder upon. He refrained from embracing Dash, instead saying, "Dash, you're brilliant. That was convincing." She replied, "Thank you, but the crucial matter is how the internet responds. Why not fetch us lunch? By the time you return, we'll have ample feedback." Upon returning with a deli bag, Dash gestured for Wes to approach. "Check this out," she said, indicating her screen. She was perusing an endless stream of comments, adorned with emoticons and GIFs. "What are those?" he asked. Those, he learned, were from the #HumiliaTubby Twitter feed. Gertie's episode ignited a flurry of comments, which was only one part of the overall reaction. Gertie's program was generating responses on YouTube, Instagram, and elsewhere. It appeared that many people had watched it. Now they were picking sides. The husband's team was leading the wife's team by approximately 70% to 30%. Wes stood frozen, struggling to grasp this information. "Are you saying 30% support Marlene?" Dash comforted him. "Don't fret. It's just a small portion of the overall response. You'll inevitably encounter the eccentric. What truly matters is that you transformed from unknown to admired by most Twitter users." He nodded approvingly at her. "You were correct. This plotline is a success." "You're fantastic," he stated, advancing towards her, but she retreated. "Regarding our incident the other day, Wes," Dash began. "Ah, yes, that. I think we should take a step back. I understand our living situation, but I'm unsure if I'm prepared." Wes replied, attempting to ease the tension. "No worries, Dash. I understand. We acted impulsively," he consoled her. She appeared uncertain. I see," he interrupted. "I understand." Before they could proceed, Wes's phone rang. It was his ex-boss, Edith Norton. "Wes," she said pleasantly, "I'm glad I reached you. Can you come to the office? I have crucial details for you." "I'm hesitant, Edith. We didn't end things amicably," Wes replied. "I'm aware, Wes, and I apologize, but there's something here you should be informed about." "I assure you it'll be worth your time," Edith insisted. He initially declined, yet he recalled the unease with Dash. "I'll be there shortly," he consented. Upon reaching his former office building, Wes was warmly welcomed by the receptionist, who even requested an autograph. Edith Norton emerged to greet him and led him to her office, where staff poked out from their cubicles like prairie dogs. "Let me get straight to the point, Wes," she began. "The last time we met, there were things said that I regret. Your work has always been top-notch, and we've missed your presence. We wish to reinstate your position, but with a promotion to director and a 15% salary increase." Additionally, you can keep the severance pay as a signing bonus. What are your thoughts? Wes sat up attentively. Edith conceded that your termination was unjustified due to false allegations of spousal abuse and violations of the employee handbook. She tried to move past it. The promotion, pay raise, and bonus plan, she suggested. However, you stood up and responded, Edith, I'll refuse the increase, new title, and court is where you'll find me. As you left her office, some staff applauded your exit. After lunch, Winston Samuels called to talk about your visit. He inquired if you hadn't made any commitments or signed anything. You relayed Edith Norton's words. The lawyer smiled. It wasn't wise to enter without legal representation, but I understand. Your boss's attempt to rehire you is a good sign. We should expect a call from their lawyers soon. Upon your return, you discussed the visit with Dash and decided on Thai food. Wes shared with Dash his encounter with Edith and their ongoing lawsuit, omitting specifics to prevent appearing boastful. Dash appeared pleased for him. Considering everything you've been through, it's about time you had some good fortune, Dash commented. The discussion momentarily halted, and Wes observed Dash scrutinizing him. What's on your mind, Dash? He asked. She hesitated before inquiring. You questioned me about my history. May I now question yours? Wes agreed. So, how did you and Marlene get together? Dash inquired. Wes sighed. I encountered her at a Chamber of Commerce gathering. We hit it off, conversed throughout the evening, and things progressed swiftly. We married 6 months after our initial meeting. You didn't know her very well? Dash inquired. I assumed I did. She told me she was divorced, and I took her word that her ex-husband was a fool. She wanted to elope, and we tied the knot immediately after her divorce was finalized. It all felt thrilling and romantic at the time, Wes elaborated. Dash remained quiet, pondering over his revelation. I was merely inquisitive about your relationship. She rose, yawned, and stretched. I'm drained. I believe I'll retire for the night. Good night, Wes. He observed her door shutting, murmuring to himself, What's going on here? The next day, Wes's phone called early, a woman's voice saying, This is Winston Samuels' office. Mr. Samuels desires to meet with you this morning. I can arrive within an hour, Wes responded. Knocking on Dash's door, he found her already dressed. Good day, Wes. Who was that on the phone? Your uncle's secretary. He wishes to see me soon. May I utilize your shower? I feel your uncle would appreciate it. Dash dismissed him, and he prepared himself. Upon exiting, he noticed Dash had procured coffee and croissants. You require caffeine and carbohydrates for a wholesome meal, she said, smirking. At the lawyer's office, the receptionist welcomed Wes cheerfully. She expressed you were anticipated with a smile. Winston Samuels wore a serious expression as Wes settled in. I've been in discussions with your previous employer, he began. We couldn't reach an accord regarding the $5 million we previously discussed. Wes felt disheartened. A glimmer of a smile emerged on the attorney's face. Nevertheless, I managed to secure $6.5 million. I trust that suffices. $6.5 million? You must be joking, Wes exclaimed. They'll also cover my fees. The only prerequisite is a confidentiality agreement and no public remarks about the transaction. Is that acceptable? Winston inquired. For $6.5 million, I will willingly remain silent, Wes responded. The lawyer motioned for Wes to halt. Recall, the IRS and the state will claim their share. You'll receive roughly half, Wes smiled. $3.5 million surpasses my expectations. I harbor no complaints. However, please keep this quiet, especially from your family. I never disclose a client's affairs without their consent, the lawyer assured him. Wes then revisited Dash's office. She showed interest and inquired, What did Uncle Winston mention? She asked. Are you free tonight? He questioned casually. No, why do you ask? She replied. Perfect then. I want to express my gratitude by treating you to dinner. Have you ever been to the Firehouse restaurant? He inquired. I'd be delighted to go, but I hear it's quite pricey. Are you certain? She responded. The reservations are already made. Moreover, for someone on the verge of a significant payout, it wouldn't be an issue, Wes explained. Recognition dawned, and she beamed with joy. Ah, Wes, congratulations, I'm thrilled for you. Then her worry surfaced. The firehouse tonight, I don't have anything appropriate to wear and my hair needs styling. There's no need to make any changes, Wes comforted her. Why not? She asked. I think your current look fits you well, he suggested. She hesitated, but then quickly went into her room. A short while later, she reappeared. I must shop. You devious man, Wes Hardaway. It's been years since I last shopped. She grabbed her car keys. Remain here. Manage any requirements that arise in my absence. I'll be back shortly. She dashed out the door. The night had fallen when she returned carrying multiple bags. She hastily retreated into her bedroom. Wes opted to dress as well. He donned the one suit he managed to save from his house. From behind, he heard her voice. How do you think I look? She inquired. He turned to see her wearing an ankle-length black halter dress. Is that you, Dash? He asked, taken aback. Her expression changed. Don't you like it? No, no, he hastened over. You look stunning, like a model. I've merely never seen you in such an elegant gown. Eased by his words, she smiled. I feared it was too extravagant, but it looked so beautiful in the shop. He retreated to admire her once more. The black dress accentuated her hair, and the silver high-heeled sandals added the final touch. You appear so tall, and the gown complements you exceptionally well, he mused, then glanced at his own attire. She questioned if she was presentable for going out with him, which made him laugh and kiss her cheek in response. He suggested calling a cab instead. As they concluded their dinner on the terrace of the firehouse, adorned with bricks, Dash sipped her wine before becoming serious. Wes, she began, referring to an earlier incident. His smile faltered. I recall it, he said, but it was my mistake. It wasn't you, Wes, she explained, looking at the table. We talked about your past marriage. It affected me deeply. I haven't been with anyone since then. He seemed uneasy. I apologize, Dash. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. You didn't, you only startled me, she continued. Initially, when we first met, I thought you were like other indifferent husbands. However, I realized you are intelligent, humorous, romantic, and reliable qualities that matter to me. She blushed. If you wanted to kiss me again, I wouldn't flee. He beamed with pride and held her hand. Before he could say anything, a waiter approached. Wes stated they would forego dessert. Dash reddened once more. Simultaneously, Marlene aggressively attempted to reach Jack Mackenzie. What's this about bribing Judge Chalmers for a protective order? She inquired. I thought you mentioned he was your friend, she challenged. In politics, friend equates to patron. The judge required a favor, but now the agency heads have expelled me and the California Department of Revenue is auditing us. I'm in trouble, Jack clarified. Oh, Jack, I'm truly sorry, Marlene replied. Your apology is meaningless. Erase my number while I resolve this crisis. He growled, ending the call. What do I do now? She lamented. Wes and Dash, absorbed in each other, scarcely observed the Lyft driver as he deposited them at the Samuels building. They swiftly proceeded to the elevator and ascended to the 6th floor, clinging closely. Upon entering Dash's office apartment, she instructed him to wait while she went to her bedroom. I'll be back in a moment, she said. Entering the room, candles illuminated it and Dash stood amidst the soft glow. The evening was enjoyable beyond measure. The next day, Wes awoke before dawn, pondering in silence to not disturb Dash. Upon his return, she was already dressed. Her gaze fell upon him warily. Why the somber look, Wes? Where did you vanish to? She inquired. I felt the need for a stroll and some contemplation, he answered. What was on your mind? She asked, attempting to mask her concern. He sat facing her with a solemn countenance. The loss of my marriage, home, and job has caused me to reassess my future. Before, everything appeared straightforward, but now I'm doubting my aspirations and where I wish to reside. He noticed her apprehension and clarified, I hail from a place other than Sacramento. My father was in the Army, and I was raised in Colorado Springs. We settled here due to my mom's family in California. Since my parents have passed, I possess no roots here. He displayed his phone. His realtor mentioned an incoming offer on the house. He took a sip of his coffee. With your uncle's help, he'd regained some financial stability. Once the divorce was finalized, he'd be free from Marlene and Sacramento. While he acknowledged the city wasn't bad, it held no particular charm for him. He'd been contemplating a fresh start elsewhere, perhaps the Pacific Northwest said to be stunning. Uncomfortably, he continued. He was sorry, but he was asking if you would consider joining him on this journey. After a moment of processing, you asked about duration. He replied that he wanted you to stay as long as you wished. When you inquired about his plans for your departure, he admitted he didn't want you to leave at all. You were taken aback and hugged him tightly. After the embrace, he explained the implications leaving family and employment and not knowing each other well yet. Silence, Wes, she interjected. Your issue, Wes, is failing to comprehend when someone says yes. She kissed him once more, demonstrating her lack of further persuasion needed. For the following few days, they were largely unaware of those around them. The transformation in their relationship was evident to all, providing amusement for the floor's women and eye rolls from the brothers. However, reality eventually intruded. Wes needed to discuss the divorce with Winston Samuels. Marlene became reasonable, swiftly resolving any issues that arose, ensuring the divorce proceeded smoothly without conflict. Wes made arrangements for Winston to manage the house sale closing and the settlement with his accounting firm, keeping the outcome hidden from Dash for now. Dash had numerous clients, mostly her father. She hesitantly shared her intentions to depart with Wes with him. Dash, are you certain? I recall what transpired with Joey. I don't want you to be hurt again, he said. She stiffened, bracing for a confrontation. It's distinct now, Dad. I'm older and more cautious. Wes is not like Joey. There's no recklessness, no infidelity, no substance abuse issues. He responded with a surprise in his voice. Yes, I've confirmed it myself. I almost lost you once, and I won't risk it again. She began to argue, but he interrupted. Everything aligns with what you said about him. He's strong, dependable, intelligent, and diligent. He was a loyal husband, just misguided about Marlene. You've made an excellent choice. If you decide to leave, I bless your decision. Oh, Father, she exclaimed, embracing him firmly. Upon her return to the chair, he stated, I'm relieved that you won't face financial troubles. I wouldn't want to see you shut down your business. You excel at it, and I depend on you more than you realize. She laughed. Being with Wes doesn't mean I'll quit my job. I can manage my business from any location equipped with a laptop and high-speed internet. You can't get rid of me that easily. I'm relieved to hear that, Dash, her father responded. His face then took on a serious expression. Another piece of information needs to be shared, and it concerns Wes. Upon finding him, they returned to find Winston on his desk's edge. He disclosed some news that could affect them both. Jack Mackenzie, Dash's mother's former lover, has been expelled from his agency and is being investigated for tax fraud. Wes remained indifferent about the situation. Winston then continued by revealing that Jack and Marlene are no longer together and have stopped talking to each other. Upon hearing this, Wes and Dash exchanged glances. Okay, Wes said firmly. Dash looked at her father and asked, why make such a big deal out of this? The detective responded, addressing the couple, it's not what has transpired, but what might happen next. Wes, your ex's plan has failed. She is without prospects for a new lover or market for her work. I believe she will try to reconcile with you. Dash sighed. Wes waved it off dismissively. I wouldn't even consider it, Trevor agreed. I understand, but don't underestimate her, the detective warned them. Marlene has options to postpone the divorce, resist the house sale, or request marital therapy. Dash informed you of your intention to depart. It seems Marlene might prolong this situation, Wes questioned. Why would she do that? Wes inquired pointedly. She can continue living in the house and has additional time for potential reconciliation with you. If she learns about the financial settlement, she could request money for the divorce, Trevor clarified. What a nightmare, Wes exclaimed. You're not even close to understanding, Winston added. Let me share more details. Upon receiving new information, Wes and Dash were taken aback. Wes appeared visibly enraged. Dash was concerned, observing him in such a state. What are you planning to do, Wes? She asked apprehensively. I feel like strangling her, he stated decisively. Seeing Dash's concern, he reassured her. Don't fret, darling. I wouldn't do that, but I want to retaliate against her somehow. She looked thoughtful. I know someone who can provide assistance. He appeared perplexed, then smiled. Gertie. They both chuckled. I'll text her about another chapter of the embarrassed spouse story, suggested Dash. In no time, their phones vibrated. She smiled and displayed to Wes the response. I want it. I need it. I crave it. They expeditiously organized the details that Trevor had gathered, readying them for Gertie's consumption. After a couple of hours, Wes's phone rang. Dash noticed the name on the screen and observed Wes's fury. She moved to the bedroom to afford him privacy, yet could still hear the rage in his voice. Upon the call termination, she reappeared. It was Marlene, he shared. She wants to meet tomorrow at our place to address some matters. She hinted at desiring reconciliation. Did you tell her you'd get back to her? Dash asked. The issue is, how soon can we forward this information to Gertie, and when can she broadcast it? If we can send it today, she might work on it immediately. It could mean a late night for us, but it'll be worth it, Wes said. Let's proceed, Dash agreed. He agreed to inform Gertie about their arrangements. He planned to contact Marlene to set a meeting for the following afternoon. He hoped that Gertie would have ample time. Dash smirked and picked up the phone. Judging by her response, there was no cause for concern. The next day, Marlene fidgeted in front of the mirror before his arrival via elevator. She was caught off guard, yet saw an opportunity to her advantage. In worst-case scenarios, she could drive him back to his apartment. Best case, he stayed overnight, she thought. As he arrived at the porch, she had already opened the door. She attempted to kiss him, but he evaded. Take it slow, she chided herself. She invited him into the living room and asked if he had the necessary documents for signing. Yes, she confirmed, spreading them across the coffee table. However, before diving into that, she felt compelled to apologize. She acknowledged her errors and poor treatment towards him. This entire divorce process was akin to emerging from a terrible nightmare. She couldn't fathom why she had acted that way. I was unkind and callous, and I don't fully comprehend the reasons. What I do understand is that I wish to atone for it all. He tried to respond, but she interrupted. The idea of selling the house sparked a revelation within me. She softened her expression slightly. We shared numerous joyful moments here, brimming with optimism and affection. It's unbearable to consider losing that. She drew nearer, a tear sparkling in her eye. Wes, is there any possibility we can recapture those emotions? Can't we begin anew? We don't need to sell the house. If you're prepared to give it another shot, I'd dedicate the rest of my life to making you as content as you deserve. He gazed at her with reserve. Allow me to summarize, Marlene. You expect me to forgive your infidelity, disregard the protective order, and forget being locked out of our shared dwelling. Darling, I understand that I behaved abominably and inflicted pain upon you. I can't rationalize my actions. It seems as if I momentarily lost my mind, but I've regained clarity. I recall how wonderful we were together. Baby, please, don't discard the good along with the bad, he said, but she saw disbelief in his eyes. Are you insane? He snapped, making her flinch. Let me clarify. I'm an accountant. I manage resources, and you, Marlene, are a significant loss. The quicker I can get rid of you, the better I'll feel. If you'll hand over those documents, I'll leave. And hopefully, this will be our last encounter. Disconcerted, Marlene gave Wes the realtor's papers. As he signed, she noticed a car parked outside. He signed rapidly, stood up, and headed for the door while she frantically searched for a way to restore their relationship. Before she could speak, he turned and gave a chilling smile. Have you heard of Gossipy Gertie? He asked. She shivered. I suggest you watch her recent broadcast. You'll find it intriguing." With that, he left for the waiting car. "All good?" Dash inquired. He nodded and smiled. Marlene hurried to her computer as they departed and navigated to Gertie's gossip channel on YouTube. She listened anxiously as Gertie spoke, revealing the latest details of Jenica's story. The title scrolling across the screen read, "Humiliated Husband, Full Disclosure." Intrigued viewers were eager to learn more about the humiliated husband and his wife, who was not as innocent as she appeared. Gertie provided the next chapter, revealing that Jenica had not sought a divorce due to domestic abuse, but rather to pursue an affair with her lover. What's more, Jenica had bribed a judge for a protective order to tarnish her husband's reputation. Shocking indeed. But the twist doesn't end there. This wasn't a passionate love affair, it was all a scam. Mrs. Machiavelli, as it turns out, had manipulated 5 husbands in this manner, seducing them, marrying them for financial gain, and then divorcing them to pursue wealthier targets. Each time, she refined her scheme, but this time, Gertie's sources, yes, you are included, uncovered the deception, thus thwarting Mrs. Machiavelli's latest plan. 6th prospective spouse is grappling with a tax review, while the 5th has departed, leaving behind a trail of non-humiliation. Meanwhile, a disgruntled group of ex-husbands in California seek conversation with Mrs. Machiavelli, whose elusive tactics during divorces have left them empty-handed financially. Proceed with caution, gentlemen of Sacramento, as Mrs. Machiavelli is on the hunt for her next mark. Marlene cried out, "No," before shutting her laptop, only to have her phone ring instantly. Recognizing the caller as a friend, she answered, "Hello, Marlene. Or should I say Mrs. Machiavelli?" In rage, she hurled the phone across the room, exclaiming, "I must escape this town, Wes." On their journey along the I-5 freeway, Wes glanced at Dash and suggested, "Let's take the 101 coastal route instead. It seems picturesque and romantic." "That sounds ideal," she agreed, and he gently squeezed her hand. "Although it will add time to our journey to Seattle, we have all the time in the world, as long as we reach our destination before our funds expire." "Upon our arrival, finding work won't be necessary," she remarked. He looked at her strangely. "Actually, I neglected to mention something, dear. Haven't I?" "You mentioned it was good," she replied. He turned red. $6.5 million. Her jaw dropped. "What? Post-taxes, it'll be roughly half that." She remained dumbfounded. "That's incredible. Why didn't you share this earlier?" "I didn't want you to believe I was using the money to charm you," he explained. She sighed exasperatedly. "Money doesn't matter to me. My role is managing clients' social media, while yours is tending to my needs. Do you think you can manage that?" He grinned broadly. "I believe I can manage it.